Hello everyone, welcome to Risky Ryan Trades. We're going to do a midweek review to see where the rest of the week is going, to see where, maybe we can make some predictions. How is the stock market looking? All that good stuff. So I have a lot of ground to cover. I'm going to start with the indexes, the S&P500, NASDAQ, and then I'm going to go through, a lot of the Magnificent Seven stocks. I'm going to go through stocks that are in my portfolio, share what I'm seeing, and maybe we can find something and find an edge. So let's jump right into it. We are looking at the S&P 500 right here. This is a daily view. I'm going to switch to the weekly view because we are a little past the halfway point on the week. And we are in a bullish pattern, if you can't tell. So this study I have right here is the Ichimoku. It's a Japanese indicator. This is the cloud. If it enters the cloud or gets below the cloud, that is a no-go for long trades. The Kijun-sen is a slower moving average, and it takes the highs and the lows and I think divides them by two, something like that. I don't know. I have to study up on this indicator a little bit more, but I do know that it works really well for me. And then you have the Tenkan-sen, which is this faster moving average, and you have the Chikuspan, and you want this to be overpriced. This white line that I have here is the 10-day exponential moving average. I like to use that as well because sometimes price will break down a little bit below the Tenkan-sen, but find support here. And I find that, if that happens, you don't necessarily need to reduce position. The rules of the Ichimoku are if it drops below and it closes below, in general, you're going to want to get out or reduce position because it could drop down to the Kijun-sen. Anyways, let's dive into it. This is the S&P 500. It is in a clear bull trend. We are pretty well extended off the weekly. If we were to experience a drop, we're looking at, to go to the weekly level. Let's see what percentage drop we're looking at here. That would be like a 3% pullback. So we could experience about a 3% pullback and still be in a bullish pattern. That's how, great the market is doing right now. We closed a little bit higher than we did last week. This candle right here is still being formed, but we're on track to close higher. Would love to see it get above 550. That would indicate that we're moving higher to right now there's like a 5,600 level that people are targeting for end of year. I think it comes way sooner. I really do. Let's go to the daily. Actually, here, before we do, let's take a look at the MACD. So the MACD is spread, which is good. So it's trending the right way. We're a little overbought on the RSIs. A little overbought. But that's no problem. Look at this. Back here, we got overbought, and it stayed overbought. And we moved up. Like, when did it start being overbought? Right here to like right here. That's a 10% move. So you can still go 10% up, and be overbought on the weekly. So honestly, it's kind of bullish that we're overbought again, in my opinion. Let's take a look at the daily real quick. Okay, so we closed once again over the Tenkan-sen. That's great news. Level I'm looking at right here is 547. If we can close over 547 tomorrow, we're going to try to, I would imagine that we're going to try to shoot back for this 550, try to close higher than that by the end of the week. Now, if we close below 542, get ready for a drop, potentially. Looking at the MACD, it's starting to curl back down. I don't love that. The RSI came off of overbought, but it's curling back up. It's still strong. So the RSI is like a strength index. When it gets into the red, that's considered overbought. It's not a bad thing, but if you've held a position for a very long time and you're looking for a good time to exit, once it gets into overbought territory, that's when you might be thinking about, taking profits or something like that. Okay, SPY is looking good. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. And I'm using the ticker symbol QQQM because that is the index that I invest in. It has small fees, and it pretty much tracks the Qs. Let's go to weekly real quick. So, okay, looking strong-ish. The last 2 weeks has almost kind of created a doji between the two of them at the top of this move. We are, as long as we don't close below 196 on this level, we should be in the clear, and it looks like we're tracking in the right direction. Also, the MACD, look at this, on the weekly is looking good. Let me just make sure. Yes. So you want to see these little green bars get a little bit taller and this thing spread apart a little bit more. And that's what's happening. So even though this has been fairly flat over the last few weeks, the momentum is moving higher. So I'm liking the Qs on the weekly. Also pretty extended away from the Tenkan-sen. So if we do have a drop, if it does close below this 196, we could be dropping down to 186. That's a 5% move. So not the best place to chase. Or if you do enter a position, I would be watching the daily very closely until we're kind of in the clear or things tighten up a little bit. The daily, we closed below Tenkan-sen, and then today we closed above this drop right here. So that X's out this candlestick, which is great. Also, I like seeing when the 10-day moving average moves above Kijun-sen. It's not a golden cross, but it's something. And we do have declining MACD right here. So we had a curl over, but RSI is moving up. So things are looking good so far with the Qs. Now, the NASDAQ is a technology-centered index. I also invest in VGT, which is Vanguard Information Technology ETF, which is even more tech-focused. And 2 days we have closed below the Tenkan-sen, but price action is pushing up higher, and today we closed above this candle right here, which tells me tomorrow we might. Oh yeah, and big volume. I think tomorrow we might see a nice move. Keep your eye on VGT. We might see a nice move. I'm gonna go more granular and just see how the day went. So on the 30-minute chart, we're still in the cloud. But we have a lot of support right here at about 572-ish, 573-ish. We're not out of the woods yet, but the MACD is curling up on this 30-minute chart. Things are looking good. So I would say, what I would be looking for, if I didn't have a position yet, I would want to see it close above 582 before entering a new position. If it does that, that means that it's above the Tenkan-sen, and it would cancel out this one right here, and that means the next price target is up to 593, which is almost a 2% move. Not bad for the near term. If you can get 2% every month, that's 24% return per year. Yeah, so this is not at a buy point yet on the daily. Let's take a look at the weekly. Okay, weekly is looking a little scary, but I'm liking the MACD. I'm liking that it's holding up. So we're not on track to close below 573. If we close below 573, we could be in trouble. But for now, I would keep your eye on VGT. It looks pretty good. SMH, semiconductors. Semiconductors lead tech. And this week, we are tracking to close below this 261.71 level. Not good. Not good. Now the volume came down, or well, this candle is not formed yet, so you can't really look at these two just yet because they're not formed. The MACD is going in the right direction still. Let's take a look at the daily. Now, SMH has a 27% exposure to NVIDIA. So it's going to move with NVIDIA, but you also have diversification among, a lot of the other semiconductor stocks, Taiwan Semiconductors, Broadcom, SMCI, a Micron, which has earnings coming up. So that helps keep it a little bit more stable, but it's still a really big beta. So it's a wild ride. It moves up a lot, moves down a lot. Now on the daily, we are below Tenkan-sen, but we're kind of, look at this, we're kind of floating up above Kijun-sen. So, and we have not touched Kijun-sen, which is good. MACD going in the wrong direction. I want to say it's about to curl, but we'll have to see. Overall, I'm holding. I have position in this. I'm not reducing position yet, because on the weekly, that's really what I'm concerned with, is the weekly. So as long as I'm above 245, I'm still bullish on this index. And semis could use a pullback, really could. And I think this might be all we get. Like, the fact that it came down this much, let's just take a look. So this was a big sell-off, recovered the next week. Pretty much, and then kind of chopped, and then we moved up to the next level. So this is a gift, in my opinion. I really highly doubt we move down this 4%. I really highly doubt it, and I would love to see this turn green and close somewhere in the middle of the previous candle. So yeah, I'm still bullish on this, but it's technically not, there's technically no buy signal yet. Cloud's good, Chico span is good, it's above Kijun-sen. If you just had to enter, I would set a stop loss. Like, there was some consolidation right here. If it made a low below that, like 249, I'd be heading to the exits. And that might be a good daily stop loss for myself, 249. Let's take a look at the weekly real quick, 249. Yeah, that might be a good daily stop loss point. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on that 249 level. All right, moving on. Let's take a look at Amazon. I had a crazy day today. I knew it was poised to break out, and today it broke out. I'm going to clutter this real quick to show you. Let me load. Where is my drawing set? Here we go. Okay, so this level right here, I'm going to go back. You can see right here in 2021, we hit this 188 level, and that has been resistance. Once we finally made the recovery, that has been resistance. I'm going to try to expand this so it's not so cluttered. So 188 has been resistance. Last week it broke through and it closed above it. This week you can see it came down, touched Tenkan-sen, popped back up, and now it's gone over the most recent high. And today it closed over it. This is the daily chart. Look at that. Look at that big green candle. I knew this was coming. If you watched my video a couple days back, I knew that this was coiling up. It was ready for a breakout. I was hoping for a much bigger move, and I'm expecting a much bigger move. I don't think people realize this happened. I was on Twitter today. No one's talking about it. Look at the MACD. Boom! Big green volume, two little reds, big green volume. We cleared over, closed over it. I was expecting an Apple-like move, and actually today I'm going to walk you through a trade I made today. So I already have about 10% of my portfolio in Amazon, but I saw this move happening, and it was powerful. Look at this, boom, boom, boom. And then there's a consolidation happening right here. I started to add some positions. I added more shares, and I set a stop loss. Like, it was right around here that I bought the shares, and I set the stop loss right here. because I thought, okay, it's consolidating. If the move is really going to break through this level, it cannot break this low that formed right here. So I added some shares, and it paid off really, really, really nice. And I sold right around here because it started breaking down. I could see on the MACD it was curling down, and we were getting some red, bigger reds, and like some red volumes came right after. So I did pretty good. So I got in I added about like 8 more shares or something like that, and I got out right here. And tomorrow part of me expects a retest of this level, but part of me doesn't. Let's take a look at the last 5 minutes. I want to get granular. Look at that. So it entered the cloud. That's not good, but the MACD on the 5 minute was all out of whack. Like, look at this. It was giving you 0 signals as it was just plowing. So enter at your own risk. However, this level, like 192-ish, is very strong support. Like, this stock didn't break through 192 just to fall. And if you're like a position trader where you're like, I don't mind holding this for a year if it means that I could participate in a potential short squeeze like pop, this 188 level, if you really want to set a low stop loss and be really safe about it, this whole area, I would be shocked if it ever came back down there. Like, if it ever came back down here, I would be buying more shares, even though I'm already overweight, just because that would be an absolute gift. This thing's on the way to 200. That's my assessment with Amazon. Let's take a look at NVIDIA. Let's go back to the daily, or the weekly. Okay, how do I feel about this? MACD looks good on the daily. We're a little overbought, but that's okay when it isn't NVIDIA overbought. This candle right here, bullish candle. However, we're still not closing. If it closed today, this weekly, it would not be above where last week opened. I want to see it climb. I want to see 130, honestly, before the end of the week. And if it closes below 123 by the end of the week, we're going to 111. That's an 8% drop. That's not insignificant. So we already had this bullish, a bullish engulfing on the daily. Let's take a look at the daily. This bullish engulfing right here, and then when this happened, really probably should have just sold all my shares because you don't, but look at this. It held support. Now we're moving back up to the Tenkan-sen. So would love to see 130. 130 is the big one. If it can pop above 130, 131, game on. Green light. Green light. Now, what I don't love is right here. We had this crossover. MACD's moving down. Even though this is moving up, overall momentum is still down. But we're not overbought. We can come back up. So levels to look out for: 130. I wouldn't, if you don't have any position, I would not enter until it closes above 130 and above this Tenkan-sen. So it closes above 130 on the daily or the weekly. And for the weekly, if it closes on Friday below 124-ish, let's get in there. So call it 123.75. If it can't close above that number by the end of the week, look out. That's all I got to say about that. Let's move on to Microsoft, Mr. Softy. We've been having a very bullish move on Microsoft. MACD is looking strong. I love 450 as support. Let's go to the daily. Daily's looking clean. Just a nice steady upward movement. MACD is starting to come down a little bit, and we're a little bit into overbought territory. So I wouldn't expect like some big pop. There's no catalyst right now, you know? But I like it. This is definitely a hold. And, you know, if it were to drop to Tenkan-sen, that's a 1.57% move. Not the biggest drop, you know. So yeah, I like it. If you see a candle cross over like 453-ish and it closes there, yeah, we're gonna move to the next. We're gonna keep moving. So I like Microsoft. That's a hold. Apple. Apple was giving me a little bit of gray hairs, if I had any hair, for a little while there. But we are now above Tenkan-sen again. We had our consolidation. MACD crossed over, but it looks like it's not really like very bad. And look at this RSI. Look at this curve on the RSI. I love that. This is a buy signal on the daily. And if you set your stop loss to this low, that's a 3.46%, you know, downside. But if we retest the highs, that's a 3% upside. So that's like a 1-to-1. But I like the setup, and I like the idea that we go higher because we've made a higher low here. This is an uptrend. Taking a look at the weekly real quick. We had a nice consolidation right here. Things are looking strong. And yeah, the MACD looks really good. Apple's looking healthy. Apple is looking healthy, and apple a day keeps the doctor away. Let's take a look at Costco. Costco, sitting on my Fibonacci fan right here. It's hugging it a little tighter than I like to see it. Hug it. We've been overbought for some time. Doesn't seem to matter to this stock. The MACD is softening but still open. We have quite a bit of a drop from here to the Tenkan-sen. That's an 8% drop. That's not small. That is not small. I'm looking to see if we close below 836 at the end of the week, this whole move might reverse. But this is Costco. Costco is a freight train. Look at this frickin' stock. Look at this freight train. It just absurd, right? Okay, going back to the daily real quick. I want to look at a couple more things. On the daily, MACD not looking good, but we're holding. We're holding this line right here, so that is major support. And as far as levels go, let's see on the daily. So I looked at the weekly potential drop. Did we get a buy signal today? Ladies and gentlemen, we got a buy signal. So we're above Tenkan-sen again. Cloud is good. Everything's healthy. If this were to drop to the daily level, that's a 3% drop. Not as bad. And if I were entering a new position, I would be setting my stop loss to like right here, 836.62. If we hit that, we're almost certainly going to come down and hit 830. So save yourself $6. Looking good, looking good. We got Eli Lilly. I got into this just at the right time. I really did. I think I bought it like right here. And yeah, I mean, it's a flawless chart. A healthy amount above the Tenkan-sen. We're very overbought. But we have been since 825. You're overbought and you still got 10% from there. So I like the RSI. Like, it's good to tell you, like, if you're looking to trim a position, it tells you, like, this is not the worst time to do it. MACD starting to curl, but yeah, we'll be keeping our eye on this. It may turn over, but this 900, it crossed 900, closed above it today, closed just above it, 905 cents. So it held support at 900. That's going to be a key level. Let's take a look at the weekly real quick. I want to see where this is going. Yeah, dude, look at this thing. Oh, this is the monthly. Okay. The weekly. All right. Yeah. Weekly looks good. MACD looks good. If we can close over 909, we're going to keep moving higher. And my price target is this 959.62. So we are getting to that point where we're almost, you know, to a major resistance level, and we're really far stretched from the Tenkan-sen on the weekly. So I would not be surprised if we saw a bit of a consolidation. However, it looks like that occurred last week. If we were to hit this level right here, I might pull my shares out, or I'll watch it very closely. Like I'll get down to the 15-minute and wait for signs that it might be rolling over, pull my position out, and wait for momentum to build again. Because what could happen? It could hit here, it could get above it, it could start to turn over. You know, you sell your shares, and this could come all the way back down. The Tenkan-sen is, on the weekly, is 10% away. So this one, you know, the train has left the station. It looks like, you know, if we can hit that line, we're looking at a 7% move yet. And this is I wouldn't even call this my end of year target. I would call this like my end of the, you know, probably by October, but that doesn't mean that it closes above it at the end of the year. It might come down. So, but yeah, this is a big, strong move. Big, strong move. Eli Lilly, what a beast. Okay. Visa. Big time chop, big time consolidation. But I mean, hey, you had a pretty nice run here. We are on the weekly closing below the Tenkan-sen at the moment. On the daily, ugly move today. I'm not scared yet. Visa is one of those stocks that just, it's a freight train. It doesn't give you crazy returns, but it doesn't give you crazy losses either. It's just a solid compounder. It usually outperforms the S&P500. I'm keeping my eye on this. I'm probably going to reduce position if we make a new low, 266. Let's take a look at the weekly real quick. Yeah, because if we get below 266, we might be coming down to this fib line, and that would be, yeah, that would not be good. Might even see like a retest of 250. That'd be terrible. But I don't really think it's going to happen. I don't know. I don't know why my gut tells me that Visa is going to be okay. It just doesn't deserve a big down move. But Visa is not a buy, and it's barely a hold. All right. Uber. Uber is my, like, low-key, maybe my favorite. Let me get these drawings off because this is very cluttered. Let's see, this is, I'm going to clear my drawing set here. Okay. Tenkan-sen below Kijun-sen, technically not a buy according to the rules of the Ichimoku. But we're holding Kijun-sen. MACD is curling, maybe? I like when these red lines right here start to get shorter. But we do have some pretty strong resistance. It wouldn't be a bad idea to wait for it to get above 73.69 and to see the Tenkan-sen get back above Kijun-sen before entering a long position. That is on the weekly though. And the weekly is looking strong. If you're risky, like me, you might look at the daily and you would see that it's in the cloud and go, I don't know about this. Now, I was lucky enough to like start buying down here because on the Fibonacci levels, it was let's see here. I gotta go all the way back. Hang on. Okay, so do you see starting right here, October 2023? What is that? 2021 down to the very bottom. There was a. Well, how did I come up with this? I'll have to reassess my lines for Uber, it looks like. But it looks like it, obeyed this anyways. And I've drawn... Oh, that's why. So I waited for it to hit this. It popped back up very strong, and I decided to buy and put my stop loss right here. So we're chugging along. We're up on this Fibonacci fan. I believe it will retest its highs right here by the end of the year. And that would be, from this point, a gain of 13.45%. So that's a 13% potential gain by end of year, in my opinion. And if you went in right now and you lost, it went all the way down, that's a 14% loss. So it's a 1-to-1. I'd be shocked if it went down. I think we've had our, consolidation period. Things are holding up pretty well. Let's take a look at the daily real quick. Yeah, it's in the cloud. Let's take a look at, yeah, keep your eye on it. It's not really a buy yet. I'm holding though. I like this Fibonacci line as support. It's closed above it pretty consistently ever since the bottom. So, all right, last stock, Shark Ninja, aka Sharknado. This stock is so new. If you go to the weekly, there's no Ichimoku cloud because it just IPO'd back in just late last year, right before the big bull run. So it's hard for me to draw lines, but if you go to the daily, we have dropped below Tenkan-sen. We're finding support barely on Kijun-sen. Everything else looks pretty healthy though. And it does occasionally hit Tenkan-sen, flirt with it, but it looks like it has never closed below, except for right here, it has never closed below this 10-day moving average. So what I'm liking is we have a convergence, a confluence between this Fibonacci line, this Fibonacci fan, and this moving average right here. It could drop, touch these, and I would be shocked if it dropped below 75.86. So, up to you if you want to take that risk and enter right here, because here's the thing, that's only a drop of 1.9%, which is a lot, but look at the upside, that's a 2-to-1, and we could just keep chugging higher because that's what all this thing seems to want to do. And I don't feel like this trade is overcrowded at the moment, it's not well known. Now, MACD on the weekly, curling down, don't love that. We are a little overbought. Let's take a look at the daily. MACD, not looking good. So, I'm holding. I'm holding. And we're going to wait and see if these lines hold up. That's what I'm waiting. That's what I would be waiting to see if I didn't have a position open yet. Now I'm going to check to see if anybody has sent me. Nobody has sent me any requests. I would love to take your requests. If you have a stock you want me to look at, just leave a comment, text me, whatever. If you know me personally. Let's do one bonus one. What is Meta doing? Let's take a look at Meta. Meta's a buy. We're above Tenkan-sen again. Cloud is healthy. We're in an uptrend again. Did we close? We didn't quite close above this candle right here. Now we do have some resistance coming up with this fan and the high of this candle, but momentum's there. Let's take a look at the weekly. Weekly looks good. I like it. If you don't have a, oh, weekly, curling MACD. Love that. I love that. Okay. Yeah, I like Meta. Meta would be a buy. Maybe I'll buy a share. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe. Hit like. Let me know what you want to see on the next one. And I'll catch you later.